Okay, Paula's coming.
Oh, here she comes. Okay.
I was waiting in the room. I was on at 8 o'clock, but I was letting me in. So just so you know, I wasn't late.
Just saying.
Duly noted. Duly noted.
And is Arlene coming? She's our other pretty steady attendee, right?
Correct.
And Cheryl.
I texted Cheryl already.
She's probably still in that beautiful shower of hers.
Yeah.
Oh, does she have a beautiful shower?
She has
Now
a beautiful brand new bathroom, yes.
Oh, I have to see it. I just have a new beautiful bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if she has pictures.
She does. She posted them on Facebook the other day. Very elegant.
Wow.
It took about a year to build.
Her husband did it himself, but he did a beautiful job.
Oh, wow. That's always nice to have a handy husband, huh?
Yes.
Yes and
Wow.
no.
That's true. Yes and no. Good point, Paula.
Yeah. Well, do you want to start? We've got 8:04.
Sure, let's start. So
Okay.
this is about netting $1 million.
What page are we on?
We are on page 234.
Okay, exactly.
With leverage at the top. So I'll just read the first paragraph. On the road to earning and netting $1 million, you're going to experience a variety of leverage issues. Hiring people is easy. However, bringing talented people into your business to work with you is never as easy as you might think. When taking leverage to the highest level, here are the 5 issues you're most likely to confront. Making time to learn and implement the recruit, train, consult, keep process. Hiring capacity versus cul-de-sac talent. Achieving accountability to the right standards. Creating teamwork with rock and roll, and combining quality service with quantity service. That is everything right there.
Yep.
So the first thing is the recruit, train, consult, keep process, which let's face it, most agents don't know, don't take the time, don't learn how to do. And they have a revolving door of people coming into their business and out of their business. And it even states in the chapter somewhere that they don't really have a team. They just have a group of people.
Yeah, they have a group. Yeah.
And I used to say that all the time. I used to see teams and I said, you don't have a group. A team. You just have bodies that happen to be under your umbrella, but there's no cohesiveness. There's no direction. There's no implementation. So this is really something that I'd love to dig deeper into, starting with the recruit, train, consult, keep process.
Orly, do you think most agents, because you've spoken to agents over the years, they don't see the importance of it? They don't see the impact of.
That's part of it, but I think the other part of it is they don't have the patience.
Or knowledge to know. It's like you don't know what you don't know. When I go back to the people I had on the team, I knew I had to have a team, but I didn't understand how to implement that team or how to make it work to our advantage. I just knew, okay, they're going to help me with X, but, and it doesn't mean that it's because I'm going to have free time. It means that I'm going to now have to do what I do best, which is prospecting. And then they take and delegating and being able to let go of your control, that too.
Right. But I think it starts even before that, because I see a lot of people hiring bodies. They really, and one thing I admire about Keller Williams is the recruit select process of really digging deep into getting the right people to sit on the right seats on the bus, because getting a body doesn't necessarily mean that person is capable, is going to grow with you, or can even grasp what the job is. And Cheryl will be the first one to admit, how many people she has hired that were in the revolving door, and only because they were the wrong people.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have, and this time she really took the time and stepped back and allowed others to help her find the right people. And her team is very quickly cohesive, and she's formulating a nice group of people that are all going in the same direction with her. So very important who you hire first and taking that time.
And the support that we have, where someone will step in and say, you know what, I looked at her KPA, or I spoke to her. I don't know if she's right for that position, or she is right for that position. You know, you have another viewpoint from someone.
Definitely. And doing the personality test, because you want to make sure that that person fits what you're lacking. You don't
exactly.
Because we tend to hire people like ourselves because we like them. So if you're an I and you like to talk and have fun, and you hire another I, well, you're all going to have fun together, but who's doing detailed work?
Yeah. On page 236, the quote down at the bottom, it says, I can teach skill, so I really focus on attitude and integrity.
That's so funny, because I always used to say that. I said, I can teach you to do the job, but I can't teach you a work ethic or an attitude.
Right.
So very, very true. It takes time to learn something, more time to implement it, and even longer to approach mastery of it, period. End of discussion. The irony is that the RTCK are the kind of skills that once learned can save you an enormous amount of time over the rest of your life. When you're able to recruit and retain talented individuals, you will no longer be faced regularly with the number one headache of real estate employer turnover. So,
and for those that are listening, RTCK is recruit, train, consult, keep.
Keep. Yeah.
Exactly.
Big one, keep.
And the cost of a bad hire and the opportunity of a great hire can really afford you not to master. So, because it does take time. In fact, it says it takes 4 months to train somebody. Do you really want to take the time out? Because I mean, I just hired a brand new buyer's agent. Literally, her license, the ink is not even dry yet. And, I really had to make a decision. This is going to take time and effort. I put together a 30, 60, 90-day plan for my team. She's going to be shadowing my other buyer's agents, but it's going to be time invested in her, and not fun, frankly, for me, because it takes me away from my focus, but something that done well, will enhance my business and grow my business.
Orly, how much of that new agent's training is going to be done by you versus your lead buyer's agent?
That's a good point, Patty. I was going to
We're on the same page, huh, Paula?
Yeah. So I'm steering the ship as far as giving her the tools, the classes to take at KW, which she already started yesterday. So now I already see that she's learning based, which pleases me. I'm going to give her the direction. However, I'm going to rely on my buyer's agents. And I already, as I introduced her yesterday to the team, she's going to be shadowing them for the first 30 days. So just like doctors practice on cadavers, we shouldn't practice on live bodies until we're ready. And she's not going to be ready for at least 30 days. So she will shadow them in buyer consultations, showing property. I mean, literally think about this, using the super keypad. Do I want to send her out there and somebody doesn't even know how to open up a lockbox? It comes down to that detail of learning the tools of the trade, knowing how to show a house, learning the intonation, the verbiage of how to speak to a buyer, to convert, open houses. So she's going to have a 30 to 60-day practice before I give her a live body.
Writing a contract, especially in this market, I get new agents that write a contract. Half of it is not filled out. It's not filled out correctly.
No addendums. No addendums. Yeah, correct.
Right. So, there's no lead paint, which is huge because that's a big fine if you don't attach that.
Exactly.
All
Good
those
point.
things.
So I give them 10 practice contracts to write up that Lillian and I will proof, because I don't want her writing up a contract the first time she's nervous because a buyer wants to make an offer. So by doing practice contracts, and I give them different scenarios. This one's FHA, this one's dual agency. So you give them different scenarios so they're ready and learn what the proper addendums, especially in Ringwood, where it's septic, oil tank, wells. So what addendums do you have to attach to it?
Now, Orly, to that point, I see that a lot of the contracts don't have the addendums.
I agree. I mean, when I get multiple offers, I almost feel like penalizing the agent
Yeah.
that doesn't know how
Check
to
the
do it.
box.
But I hate to penalize their buyers. So of course
Yeah.
I don't, but they don't follow direction. They do not follow direction. You're absolutely right.
Now,
Still
Orly,
don't know dual agency, some of them.
oh, absolutely. Or dual commission arrangements. I try. Back to the hiring process. And Paula, jump in if you want to. When you are hiring more staff, do you counsel with your current staff to see
Yes.
if they'd be a fit?
Yes.
Always.
You want to make sure that they like them as well.
Well, actually, in my case, Katie, who's director of operations, she's the first one that actually meets with that person before I do. There are people I wouldn't have hired on my team if it wasn't for Katie, because I just say no right away by looking at what's on paper. And if I think that their KPA or this doesn't fit, but she knows them or she's met with them, she has a good sense of what's right. So before I meet them, she meets them.
Good point, Paula. And when I had Noreen for 22 years, same thing. I mean, Monica used to put the ad in and do the phone interview. So we would screen them. And if it was an admin position, we'd have them send us a brochure that they did of their house. So Noreen would screen for grammatical errors, spelling mistakes, and that would weed them out right there, following directions or not. And then she would meet with them. And you're right, the third pass, I would finally meet with them.
Leaving a voicemail, the way they speak on the phone is, a lot of times we hired and we said, leave a voicemail, not because we didn't want to speak to them, but we wanted to hear their voice, their intonation. If they had great English, that was important too. Well, not always good English. You could have an accent. I don't want to make sure I'm politically correct here,
Right.
But knows how to speak eloquently to be able to speak with a buyer or a seller.
We knew what you meant. Is their grammar correct?
I want to make sure that
yes, this is a reflection of you and your team. I mean, I had two admins in the past, and one of the people in town who knew them from before, he said, he stopped me in the parking lot and he said to me, I have to tell you, since they've come to work with you, I've seen such a change in them, the way they dress, the way they, handle themselves, because they are a reflection of me. So there's a dress code, the way you speak to clients is the way I speak to clients. And it goes back to one of the points in this chapter of having standards. When you have standards, your team has to follow those standards or exceed those standards. So we have what's called an "it's my pleasure" attitude in my team. We follow the Ritz-Carlton model.
Oh, I love it.
No matter what the client wants, no matter if they're difficult or analytical or whatever it is, you do it with a smile and you say, "It's my pleasure."
Nice. I hope I'm not jumping ahead if I go to page 237, where it starts to define capacity talent versus cul-de-sac talent. Since we've been skirting around that in our conversation.
Right.
This is huge. Jump in.
This is absolutely huge, because sometimes we hire someone to do the job, because think about it. When do you hire someone? When you feel that you're at capacity. You yourself are at capacity.
You're tired.
Can't do anymore. You're not going to be growing. So you're tired. You're overwhelmed. You're busy. So you're going to choose the first body that you can hand off some work to. And it may not be capacity talent. It may be cul-de-sac talent. So this person can follow your to-do list and check it off the list and leave at 5, and they're done for the day. But when you hire capacity talent, For instance, Lillian, we had 30 offers this weekend on a house, 3-day weekend. I don't expect her to work, but she knew that reviewing 30 offers, because she reviews them before I see them, she started on Monday on her day
Wow.
off, because she
Wow.
knew that we would be very overwhelmed on Tuesday morning. So that's capacity talent. This is somebody that owns their job.
Team. Yes. She
Somebody,
cares about. That's the
exactly.
culture.
Somebody who owns their job, loves their job. And I have to tell you, I did have one admin once that left the office. I texted them. They were literally in the parking lot and they never responded to me. And because of that and a lot of other little things, I realized this person was not the kind of person that I would want it on my team when you walk out the door and you're done. I really didn't feel they were a team player.
Mhm.
They were just looking for a paycheck. And I fired that person very nicely. And I just said, I just don't feel that you're happy. They said, I'm not. I said, then I will give you an opportunity to be happy somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that was it. I didn't have to list the things that I didn't like. It didn't matter.
And better not to. It's
Exactly.
always been my advice.
It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. At that point, you just part ways. And that's not an easy thing for us to do as well. You're now a business person. We get our license. We become a realtor. Nobody ever teaches us. None of my friends ever went to business school. So none of us ever really learned how to run a business. And that is hiring and firing. And what did they say? Hire slowly, fire quickly. Not as quickly as I did with one of my hires in 4 days and then got sued, but that's another story. So.
Oops. Yeah. Yeah.
So you want capacity talent. You want somebody that's going to push you to the next level, who's going to be looking at you and saying, as Paula mentioned last week, this is not what you should be doing. That's my job.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we enjoy doing the mundane because then we don't have to prospect.
Well, and sometimes we need a mental break.
Correct.
So we go to a task that is, the capacity talent will support you really well. And in some capacity, replace you.
Correct.
Yeah, I like that.
And that's a very fine line. It's a very fine line to hire someone that has your ability, your personality, that will want to and can replace you without leaving you and starting their own. So that's one of the fears. Let's face it, it's the elephant in the room. That is one of the fears that a lot of agents have in hiring agents and someone to replace you, because you taught them everything and they leave. And believe me, I've been in this position. I have created many a good realtor in my marketplace who are now my competitors, and I don't regret a moment of it. I whenever they came to me and said, I'm ready to go out on my own, I said, spread your wings and fly. So don't be
it's a real testament. It's a real testament. It's we can't feel like we're losing something when that happens, as opposed to our talent is really being spread, because we realtors are judged not only by what we do, but by what other realtors do in the public.
Correct.
And that helps, if there's other good talent out there, it helps us maintain a professional reputation.
I remember once you said early, is she doing at least 60% of it? I mean, to take it out 60% off your plate? And it did. And she did. So if that's what until you find the right person, I'm saying, but even someone who helps you, that 60% is better than not helping you at all. Right. But having the wrong person on the team, like I had, I guess 10 years ago, once she left, my business exploded. I didn't realize how she was hurting my business. She was
toxic. And that's a very, sometimes you don't realize you have toxicity in your office.
I didn't reach the level. I had to babysit her. I didn't realize it. Actually, my team thought that she was blackmailing me to stay there.
And your team will see it before you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So know in your team who has your back.
Okay, what page are you going to go to? Just so we're all together.
Okay, let's
Capacity, talent versus cul-de-sac, the figure 4 on 238.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so it's being able to do the current tasks and then seeing the future tasks.
Future tasks.
Now, not everybody's talented in everything. So you have to recognize that and either outsource what they're not talented in or encourage what they are, because not everybody is creative or, has great verbiage when it comes to marketing and things like that. So you have to recognize what you have. I have 3 admins and my right-hand person is not creative. So I have a marketing manager who is more creative. So depending on what you need on the team, or you can outsource it. So you don't, because that's not something you need every day.
Yeah. You bring up a good point, though. In today's market, things are changing so rapidly as far as marketing, technology, social media, that we need to have people on our team who are adaptable.
Right.
Who are not going to just say, hey, this is
Not
the way
my
it is,
job.
and this is the way it's going to stay.
Exactly. This is not my job.
Yeah. Embrace change.
And I think I was one of the first teams that was admin heavy. And people always said, why do you have so many admins? And I said, well, with our price point, we do a lot of volume, number one. So when you do a lot of volume, you have to keep up that service for the clients and keep up with the tasks. But it's just the way my team evolved with 2 part-time and 1 full-time. But actually it worked out as a blessing because when one person is gone, I'm not left, holding the bag. And I did make sure, this is very important, that everybody was cross-trained.
I was just going to go there. Yep.
So you must cross-train your team.
Yeah.
The person that doesn't normally put a listing in the computer and can't, now I have Reese to do that. So you have other, but, not pretend. I had Jill leave for a week. We launched 4 listings without her there. Lillian, I told her, when you go on vacation, we have your job description, figure out who's going to do all of your tasks. So plan ahead.
And I like how you made it Lillian's responsibility.
Yes.
Yep.
And on that note, he talks about having a policy and procedure manual. So I've always had one for many, many years, but I recognized when I came over to KW that it didn't work anymore because the systems were different. So we're in the process of creating a new policy and procedure manual. But every task we do, whether it's our Thanksgiving Day pies, whether it's our shredding event, we have a description of that event. Who does what, who to call, how much it costs. So if one of my team members leaves, I'm not left holding the bag. Somebody else can just take that piece of paper and recreate that event.
Yeah. I know I'm jumping ahead, but it speaks to what you just spoke about, Orly, on page 244, systems documentation model, and how detailed the who, what, when, where, how, why.
Yeah. We have samples of, the systems, the actual forms that have to be filled out in the policy and procedure manual. So somebody can see.
Yeah. This speaks to step 1, take out a notepad, write down all the things you do in as bullet points, leave nothing out.
Right.
And it will be a long list. And then break that list into 6 or 12 categories.
Yes. And one of the things that I always do is with a new admin hire, is I tell them for the first 3 months, follow the policy and procedure manual, and then you can make it your own. Because the business does evolve. They come with their own set of eyes of how to improve things, and you have to empower them to be able to do that. So don't be so rigid as to hold on to that system. Arlene just asked, are you aware of program? Perfect. Yes.
Assistant by Monica.
So Arlene, I was very fortunate that even before I joined KW, we signed up to that system. So my 2 admins took the course. So we have, when we printed out all the classes, I think there were 16 of them. I think it was a very long course, quite a few months. And from that, Lillian is improving and tweaking our policy and procedure manual. So yes, Monica Reynolds has it down to a science. So if you have an assistant, you may want to sign them up for that class.
Or if she doesn't.
Thanks, Arlene.
For herself.
I actually took it for myself because since I don't have an assistant, I am the assistant.
Yeah.
So for me, I found it very valuable to even, for myself. So I thought I would share that.
But it's great that you have it because you can create a policy and procedure manual off of that.
Absolutely.
That's custom to your business.
Arlene, next time we have a conversation, I want you to start looking for an assistant. You need to have one.
I know. Absolutely true.
No, I'm going to ask Arlene another question. What is holding you back from hiring an assistant?
I've actually, just fear of myself.
What's the
Fear of myself.
fear?
I never wanted to be a team lead. I would rather just either be on a team or how do I put it? Like, to me, I just do my thing and I don't know. So I'm actually looking at it like, I really could do so much better if I did have an assistant that was doing the mundane that I do enjoy. So
Right.
That's part of the problem.
So maybe take the semantics of team lead out of your mind. Some people, it's the fear of the extra salary. For some people, it's the fear of the accountability because now you're accountable to someone else as they are to you. So if you look at it as just taking those tasks off your desk, how does that make you feel?
It would be a relief off my shoulders because I do put a lot of time into things that I know I should be leveraging out.
So I'm going to ask you again. So what's holding you back from hiring an assistant?
According to the book, the amount of business that you're supposed to have in order to hire the assistant, I don't have it. Yet that's not the main reason. It's probably the fear of the salary paying out to somebody.
But think about this. When I pay for something, because I'm frugal. So when I pay for something, whether it's a class or anything, I make sure that I really use it because I don't want to waste my money. So
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I buy a pair
That's
of shoes,
a good way to look at it.
yeah, I'm not the kind of person that's going to buy a pair of shoes and put them on a shelf and never wear them. I know women who have clothes with tags on them. That would kill me. I would rather return it or give it away. But to see it in the closet with a tag on it and never wearing it, that's a waste of money. So think about the accountability of having to pay somebody every single week, having to show up for them, having to be organized to give them the tasks, and how your business will grow just because of that.
I think that's a very valid point. And I was going more towards the area of either mentoring or teaching and, did launch coach for a while, trying to teach the agents. And, now I'm realizing it really shouldn't have been that focus. It should have been more on my plan on what I could do for me and how I could help my family. So I'm really reevaluating everything since the pandemic.
It sounds like you're reevaluating.
Yeah,
your
I'll
why.
be on that.
I think you're
Excuse me?
reevaluating your why.
Arlene, think of it as an investment. Like, you're investing in the stock market and you may not win or you may not lose, but you're investing it and it's like going to Atlantic City. You play with what you can afford to lose. So if you look at it that way, from your perspective, look at it as an investment into hiring an assistant so that you could focus on dollar productive activities. And then you'll be surprised how your income is going to grow and pay for that assistant.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Exactly. Especially if it's an assistant who's going to push you along a little bit.
And you don't have to hire a full-time assistant, Arlene. There are a lot of people out there that really want part-time jobs that still have kids at home, want to be home by a certain time. So that doesn't commit you to a 40-hour week. I would start with 15 to 20.
How does that feel, Arlene?
Now, would you start with a real person or would you start with a cyberbacker? Because
I would not start with a virtual assistant. I would start with a real person that physically shows up in your office, where you mentioned you were thinking of doing launch coaching. Why don't you coach that person to be the best assistant ever from the class that you took? So you reap the benefits.
True. Okay. Right. Okay. So excellent. I appreciate the advice. I really do. You have no idea how much I appreciate.
Arlene, you're breaking up a little bit, but
Yeah, we don't.
we can't hear you. Yeah,
I do.
But yeah, obviously people on this call are your fans. So
Totally.
they come from experience and a good place. So.
And then I'm going to jump to page 240, what customers want. So many agents think that their customers use them because of the level of service they provide. While that is generally accurate, it is more precisely true that their customers use them because of the standard of service they expect and receive. When we draw a bead on the real reasons why, we understand that our standards really define the service experience our customers receive and are what keeps them coming back for more. We also then understand the truth that any standard that can be defined can almost certainly be duplicated by another. Hence, it boils down to an issue of how successfully to document and communicate those standards to your staff so they are able to emulate your behaviors and level of service. You'll have to define how you want something done, explain the why, when, where, and who of it, trained to the standard, and then hold off your staff accountable to following your lead. However, until a process has been documented, you haven't standardized it, and you can't really expect someone else to be able to do it in your standard way. Quality service that is not defined and documented so it can be consistently duplicated is just a hollow slogan. At best, it becomes a promise you just can't make. Most agents have slogans about quality, but millionaire real estate agents have simple documented standards of quality. Thus, most agents are able to deliver high quality service when they do it personally, but the quality suffers dramatically when someone else is asked to do the work. And I'm going to jump to don't do the follow me and watch what I do approach without documentation in the mix. But on that note of service, I also want to bring out the fact that you can actually give better service to your clients by having a team. There's no way in this market, especially, that you can follow up on all the tasks that need to be done to give your clients the kind of service that they deserve. So by having people constantly in touch with them, for instance, this weekend, as we were getting the offers, I set the expectations for the other agents, highest and best, Monday at 5. We will not be presenting until Tuesday, because then you have those agents bugging you, have you presented the offer? In the meantime, I hadn't spoken to my clients all weekend long. So we launched them on Thursday. However, we communicated with them, letting them know you're getting tons of showings. You're starting to get offers over the asking price. We will review them with you on Tuesday. Thank you so much. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't have to have long conversations. Just set expectations and people will follow suit.
On page 248, Orly, again, you're speaking exactly to the book. One common perspective holds that the more time an agent spends with their client, the better the quality of the experience for the client. The belief is that the customer satisfaction is most effectively achieved by personal contact. And obviously, that's not the case. All right. Our experience with top agents doing high volumes and servicing large numbers of clients provides another perspective. These agents achieve high marks in service and enjoy an abundance of word of mouth referrals. yet they spend less time with their clients than the average agent on page 248.
I see my clients once at the one-step listing appointment, and they never see me again these days, personally. But they hear from me or somebody from my team every week, everything. Feedback, if something is sitting on the market, we do that on Tuesday because Monday's busy. So we set the expectation. You will hear from us on Tuesday regarding the feedback, especially when the market is down. So it's a matter of just setting expectations.
Yeah.
The home inspection was done. This is the heads up. So Lillian calls the other agent after the home inspection. Are there any deal breakers? Give us the, summary of what we may anticipate.
Yep.
We let them know these are the two issues the buyers are concerned about. However, please keep in mind that when they review it with their attorney, we may get a laundry list of a few other issues, and that should be coming in the next few days. So just setting expectations for them so they're not calling you ever. Part of my listing presentation is you will never have to call me and ask me, what do I do, or what's happening, or what's the next step? We will proactively let you know.
Yeah. Now, who makes that call about the inspection issues?
Lillian.
Okay.
Lillian.
In my case, inspection issues, I do. So everybody has their thing, but I do the inspections. And obviously, if you're on a team talking about things having to do with real estate, they have to have their realtor license too. Keep that in mind. So that's something too. It's whoever's on your team to talk about the important issues of real estate, they should have their real estate license.
That's a very good point, Paula, because Arlene, if you hire someone who's part-time, my ads always read licensed or willing to get licensed, because the market will turn and you will want that person to talk to other realtors for feedback, attorneys, whomever. So you don't want to be locked into a task doer admin where she's just pushing paper but can't speak to anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an expensive position.
I'm going to have to go because I have a doctor's appointment. So.
Hope all is well.
Yes.
No, it's fine, physical, but
we're almost done.
I don't want to just leave you guys. So
do what you have to.
So the last part in page 245, number 12, creating teamwork with rock and roll.
Yeah.
As you include additional people in your business life, teamwork will become an issue. Your ability to get people to work together and to create synergy among differing personalities can generate momentum in your business or stall it altogether. The latter happens all too often as staff members all pull in their own directions instead of pulling together. While the problem is common, it is also fairly easy to remedy. The solution is what we fondly call a focus on rock and roll. To achieve teamwork, you need to do two things. Articulate clearly the key goals of your business. These are what we refer to as the big rocks of the business. For example, your main business goal might be to reach 80 million in closed production. That is now the team's rock. Ensure that each team member understands exactly how his role, job description, contributes to the achievement of your business goal, big rock. For example, if your business goal is 80 million in closed production, one of your buyer specialists must have a goal of 10 million in closed production toward that goal, and that is his role. So everybody has to be moving in the same direction.
Yeah.
And that's part of accountability, Arlene. So it's all for one and one for all. And it's creating a culture, which they don't really talk about here, but it really is creating a culture. So because of my new hire yesterday, I'm creating a team lunch next week. It's because we're all working remotely. So this way they can meet Shelby, bond with her. I might have one of our mortgage people take us out to lunch. So it's a double treat. But, you want to do team activities together and create a cohesive, that's always been my word, is create a cohesive environment that they're working well together, whether you're there or not.
Yeah. And Orly, I'd like to jump on the word in number 2, where it says contributes to the achievement of your big rocks. Not only productive wise, but that they feel important, that their job and that they are important.
Right.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
Absolutely. And also keep in mind when you've got multiple team members, and this is something that Paul and I learned, that you can't want something for someone that they don't want for themselves.
Oh my God.
So sometimes, as team leaders, we have bodacious goals. And, the buyer's agents are like, eyes are like deers caught in a headlight. Like, it's like, no, I don't want that for me. That's too much. You're putting too much pressure on me. I can't do it. So sometimes you have to scale it down so they can see it for themselves. So I give them a goal based on what they did the previous year. And then I said, what if we just do a reach goal? That if you do this reach goal, there'll be a bonus involved. So there's an incentive there. Make them see beyond what they see for themselves.
Yep. Recognition and reward.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love this. This is so important. Making an individual to a team does not necessarily make a team player. So how many times, they talk about page 247, group versus team. People who think they have a team because they have 4 bodies working with them, but they're not working cohesively together. So the group versus team model, I love this, is in a group, no clearly stated goals. Everybody's kind of willy-nilly doing their own thing, and then we'll pull it together and see what we get at the end of the day. Daily assignment and tasks, no sense of urgency. One person feels responsible for the success or failure. That's usually the team leader, and competition within the group, as opposed to a team where there's clearly communicated goals in writing big rocks, clearly written job descriptions, and everyone has their own roles. Healthy sense of urgency with specific accountability. So if you're putting together a marketing plan, the marketing person knows that this is not going to be done whenever. It must be done on a consistent basis. Healthy sense of urgency with specific accountability. Everyone feels responsible for team success or failure. Teams take on outside competition.
Yeah.
Really, really important to create that culture and atmosphere, and not easily done, but something that you need to focus on when creating a team.
Yeah. The prior page does speak a little bit about no one's protected if the business goals are not met. And one of the truest ways to hamstring synergy is for accountability to be perceived as lax, or worse, not even-handed. And then recognition and reward.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a team goal, and if you reach our goal, there is a team reward at the end of the year. We do a spa day, we do something really nice that everybody votes on. Yeah, that everybody votes on what they want to do. So
that's nice, Orly.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
Well, you want to have fun together, because if you don't have fun together, then again, you're just a group of bodies working together, but not necessarily towards the same goal.
Yep. Yeah. It's a great chapter.
It really is. I love this chapter because it really speaks to me the foundation of creating a good team.
And next week we have 249 to 262. So we finished the chapter.
Right.
Good.
Excellent. Good job.
Good session.
Yeah.
Good session. Yeah. Good job. Okay.
Very
Arlene,
good.
thanks for coming on.
Yes.
And I know you've got quite a schedule, so thanks for coming on.
Well, I appreciate being here. I really do. Thank you.
Well, we're glad you are.
And if you ever need to run something by me, Arlene, please reach out. I'm always here.
Oh, you're fantastic, Orly. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Bye, Pat. Doing this with you.
My pleasure. Everybody make it a great day.